Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Idiosyncratic Fables, where the whole premise that I've wanted to set the stage, if you will, is that everybody has a story to share, and I want to hear yours. But more specifically, I firmly believe that every single person is worthy of love. And quite honestly, we need more of that in our world today more than ever. Just take a look across the social media and or your local news, and I don't need to go into any more detail. Regardless of where you stand, we need more love in this world, period. More community outreach, more hugs. I'm a huge fan of hugs. I'm probably going to get a t-shirt that says free hugs just because of that. Anyway, I could go down that rabbit hole, but that is not our focus today. Before I introduce this month's guest, a little bit about what I've been up to. Last episode spoke to you all about my progress as far as my first book that I've been writing. Well, it is now writ. I am proud to say that it is complete. The first rough draft, if you will, is finished. It is currently in the hands of my editor. Trust her with my life. I can't wait to see what she says about just the story in general, but curious to see what kind of corrections are needed. And then after that, we're going to purchase the pack of ISBNs. We're going to track down an actual cover design artist because I believe that all artists are worth their pay. And then we're also going to register it with the Library of Congress and get that copyright squared away. And we're looking at a possible published date of January or February 2026. So keep your eyes peeled. If you are a fan of thrillers, kind of along the same lines as like Stephen King, then my book, Wretched Appetite, is going to be something that you're going to want to pick up. All right. My next guest for the month of September, based in Southern California, she is an audiobook narrator who has narrated dozens of titles across genres like YA, romance, suspense, nonfiction. She's also known for her skillful accent work. Proud SAG-AFTRA member trained with notable audiobook coaches, including Andy Art, Joel Frumkin, Frumkin, he'll probably tease me about that later on, Rachel Hirsch, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Shiloh James. Shiloh, thank you so much for being willing to be on the show this month.
Thank you, James. It's such a pleasure to be here, as always, and congratulations on finishing your book. That's such a huge deal.
Thank
It's a
you.
big step. As a writing major, an English and writing major, I know how hard that is. So many of us start and never finish, and you have gotten the first draft done. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I remember talking to one of my many coaches, mentors, what have you, over the years, to where they said that writing the book is actually the easiest step. Everything else after that is the hardest part as far as the editing, but more so
Yeah,
the marketing. And I
yeah.
went, yeah,
Marketing is a thing.
marketing is a thing.
Yeah.
So we are just going to go ahead and hit the start button, if you will, and get right into these interview questions.
Okay.
I've broken them up into varying categories, starting with your early and personal journey, and then ending with community and audience. So my first question for you is, you've overcome chronic Lyme and Epstein-Barr illness. How did that journey inform your voice and connection as a narrator?
Wow, what a great question. Yeah, I don't. That's such a great question. I'm not sure I've overcome either.
Okay.
Here's why. Both diseases are widely argued to be diseases that just go into deep remission, if anything. I am going to claim that they are in deep, 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 deep remission.
Hey, I'll stand
And
with you there.
every now and then the Epstein-Barr likes to pop itself up, and I'm like, no, no, we're going to take a lot of all the things I know what to do to pop it back to sleep. But I would say, as someone that spent the majority of her life um, facing some kind of illness, I have a unique perspective on how much life is to be relished. I have a unique perspective on relationships. I have a unique perspective on everyday living. I'm such an adventurous spirit, and when I was younger, that meant climbing literal mountains, and today I can see that as, like, you can have a total adventure just going outside of your home, going running errands, doing something outside of the norm. Adventures can be little by somebody's estimation, or they can be grand, and that is something I would not have learned if I had not spent actual years trapped in bed. Um, I think that's the question you asked. There's so much I could
Yeah.
talk about that. So, yeah,
A and I believe I did choose the wrong word because you corrected me. Thank you for that. You have not overcome, but you've managed to put them into deep remission, and yeah,
yeah,
let's keep that, in the good vibes going, that they
yeah.
remain in deep, remission.
Amen to that. I'll
Yeah,
take it. Yeah. In regards to Lyme, I do claim health, and so I do think of it as health. And it's so funny because I will have people ask, like, "Oh, do you have any chronic conditions?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good now." And I have to remember, "Oh, wait, I have asthma, I've got migraines, I've got other things that I deal with, but
right,
they're so minimal compared to what I was dealing with before that I don't really consider them that." And I must remember not to minimize that because they are somebody else's mountain.
correct.
Um, and so, if anything, it's helped me appreciate that everybody has something major that they're struggling with, that they're hiding.
That's right.
Yeah.
So with
Oh,
the next question,
yeah.
what motivated you to transition from performance arts into audiobook narration, and how did your literature degree influence your narration style?
Another great question. I can always count on you for great questions. I, you know, I was sick for so long. I had to take a real big step back from performance art. I'm such a creative person. I channeled my creativity into other types of artistic forms, but I pretty much was told no more theater. You're not going to be able to act on camera. Not for you. Go away. And so I had to transition my degree from theater to that of English and writing. And I just kind of went, okay, next step in life. And many years later, I met someone in the industry who brought me in and said, you could do this. And it was such a huge gift that that person offered me and trained me to become an audiobook narrator. And I have listened to audiobooks my whole life. And so being able to do something that I never thought was a real job worth attaining and to be back in acting and be back performing and to be reading every day is it's a miracle gift. I don't know if that makes any sense. The kind of gift that you're given that you almost hold with a more soft hold, a preciousness,
Sure.
because it's everything I've ever wanted.
That's
And so
fantastic.
it's fantastic. This is what I do, and I again, forgive me if I missed it. I have a migraine today, so if I missed part of your question, just reel me back in.
No worries at all. No worries at
Okay.
all. So tell us about your home studio setup then. Why the AT-2035, Scarlett Solo, and Audacity?
Um,
Any tips for narrators trying to build their own setup?
well, honestly, cost. Let's be real. I'm now at the point in my career where I'm almost 100 books, and I'm
Woohoo!
now looking at things. I'm now 3 years in and looking at this going, "Okay, it's time to upgrade." These are great basics. These are really solid basics that can technically take you through your whole career with very minimal struggle. But there are tiny little things and tiny little oofs that we can make as narrators that just take us that much further. And so one of the goals I'm looking at is upgrading my mic this year. Um, I'm playing around with my DAW. Audacity works really well. My Scarlett, it works well right now, so I'm not complaining about that. I just built a home booth this year, which has been really good and helped up my game and my efficiency. I was in a blanket fort before, and now I'm in an insulated, it's really big space. Look, you can see.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, it's quite tall. I actually built it out of Billy bookcases and rock wool insulation. Another narrator gave me the specs, and it's been brilliant. I can record during tractor day because I live in the country, and sometimes there's tractors, so it's kind of nice.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't live in the country, so I can't relate to tractors, but I am in the suburbs, and so every now and then I'll still get
Yeah,
lawnmowers and snow
absolutely.
blowers and even
Mhm.
crop dusters that fly overhead because, yes,
Oh
I'm in a
god.
suburb, but because being in the Midwest, we are surrounded by corn and soybeans.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
So how would you say that your coaching experiences, with industry professionals shaped your storytelling
Mm.
approach?
I have been coached by so many people, so many wonderful talents, and I mean, the list you mentioned is just a small smattering of incredible, incredible narrators. I do have a theater background. I was trained in theater through most of my childhood and young adulthood, um, but I needed brushing up, and Joel Frumkin has a fabulous class on acting for audio that I took that was a really great reminder of the basics of acting. Highly recommend. On top of that, Rachel Hirsch is fantastic. She has a similar vocal profile in the sense that she has a higher register, not as much texture to her voice. She has a much more clear sounding voice than I, but she helped me very early in my career on how to do different voices. How do I sound like a man? How do I sound like other women? And to make it real and land. And she helped me with vocal health as well. Andy Arndt is a goddess in this industry for very, very real reasons. She's helped me so much on landing in the romance genre and how to make it sound real and approachable and new and fresh. I could go on and on. Literally every single coach I've worked with, and there have been so, so, so many, have helped me. And I am one of those people that I'm a proponent of continuing education. We are actors, but we can get into ruts. We can get into a sound or a rhythm. And some of us, that's beautiful. That's our style. And for others of us, we need to be shaken out of that. We need to be like firmed up. And if we've been doing this for 10, 20 years, maybe it's time that you teach so that we can learn something new. I think the best thing you can do as an actor is continue to grow. The best thing you can do as a human is continue to grow. And coaching, I think, is imperative.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So let's move to your genres that you've done as well as some of the projects. You cover a very wide range from YA to romance and then suspense.
Well, yes
Which,
and no.
all right. So, which genres or roles do you enjoy most voicing and why?
Yes and no. I would say, while I have covered a wide range, there's still more I want to cover. I am primarily romance. Um, and at the beginning of my career, I came into this as a romance reader, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, this is great." But as you go into it, and I'm sure you know this, James, your voice, your style of narration is going to determine where you land. You have some say. At the end of the day, if you are open to the adventure of yes, you're going to find out where your voice is going to take you. And so my voice decided that she wanted to go into the darkest recesses of romance. And they were books that I never picked up before I started narrating.
Okay.
And now that I'm close to 100 books, can I now solidly look back and say thank you to my crazy little voice? Because while these are books that have challenged me, broken me, expanded me, they have also shown parts of myself to myself that I would never have met. And I think that's the beauty of this industry. If you have a solid base outside of the booth, if you have a solid fixture of who you are, if you've got a solid connection to your roots, to your faith, to your family, to whatever holds you in this world, you can go and explore what the book world is going to show you. And so for me, I have found that I do love my YA. I love my historical fiction. I love thrillers and suspense, and I love romance. And what I've discovered within romance is I can do humor, I can do it really well, and I can do dark really well. And I am grateful because it has shown me more and more of the light inside, as well as coming to terms with who I am in the dark.
That's wonderful. I
Thank you.
love that. Are there recent or upcoming releases you're particularly excited about, like Their Cursed Wolves or The Rebel, for example? And what made those narrations stand out?
No, God bless you for your research. My gosh.
I
Um,
dig deep.
yeah, yeah, you're like hot ones over here.
I love that
With
show.
I know without the pain of the chicken wings. Thank you.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Um, I would say I was really honored by The Rebel, as you know, having worked on a TJ London book or two. Um, the amount of how much she asks you to step up and inhabit these characters. I've been a fan for years. You know that we met at the Sovas supporting
We
her.
did.
Well, I was supporting you guys, and I it was a huge honor to be able to work on that project and to be pushed and expanded as an actress and a chance to be able to be characters that I don't get to be in other books. That was quite fun. I got to be a hooker, a companion, a lady's companion, let's be clear, and
Yes,
a
yes.
a best friend, a frontiers woman. So it was great fun. Um, in regards to other books that I'm really proud of recently, I'm honestly proud of everything I do. I bring all of myself to it. I would say one of the rom-coms I'm really happy about two of them actually. I would say the Sarah Smith books that I've done recently, Dessert, Flirt, Repeat, Snow, Ice, and Spice. Really, really fun. I co-narrate those with Aiden Snow. Um, I just did Date and Switch with by Willow Sanders, and that is I have to speak multiple languages in that.
Ooh.
Uh,
Ooh.
mm, not sure French is my strength, but I dug deep for that,
Hey, you
and
and me both.
it was fun though. And I did that with Walker Williams, who's a fantastic co-narrator as well. A couple that have broken me that I love. Um, was Without the Moon, Act One by Larissa C. Moyer, co narrated in duet with Sean Masters. That book is, I think, important. If you can handle the triggers, highly, highly recommend you read the triggers.
Mm.
And if you cannot read what happens in the last four chapters, she does a summary on her website. The reason why I say it's important is because the subjects covered in this are often not discussed in regards to men. And I'm giving a bit of a spoiler. It's important because it happens to men just as much as women. And
Ah,
so she takes you on an emotional journey through the traumas and healings that come through trauma.
oh,
It's
wow.
beautiful and heartbreaking. Another book I'm really super proud of. I'm honestly, I could talk about them forever. I'll just give one more. I mean, I'm so proud of everything. And grateful, grateful beyond measure. Um, The Lovely Return by Carrie and Cole. I co-narrated that with Brandon Francis and Danny California, and it's a taboo book. I say this because every time I try to describe a Carrie and Cole book, it sounds unhinged. But the way Carrie and Cole writes, I've been a fan of hers for about a decade. The way she writes a story is that she takes something that we can say in a trope or gloss over and she humanizes it so that they could be your cousin, your neighbor, and you go, but it's okay. This is the case. And in that okay, you start to I did, and I would challenge people who read it, you start to expand your heart a little bit and your brain and you think, what if I'm wrong? Now, in this case, it deals with the subject of reincarnation. Now, I personally don't believe in reincarnation. Others might. That's fine.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about it. I don't know. But it's not what I currently hold as my belief. And what she does, though, is this beautiful story about mental health and reincarnation and an age gap romance. And it's heartbreaking and beautiful. And it asks questions and it doesn't answer them, but it ends happily ever after. and
Wow.
you walk away with a story that resonates in your heart. And I love those stories. Stories that you're kind of like, I'm not sure I agree, but now I have conversation points. That's what I like.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm up to.
That's awesome.
That and I did my first horror book.
Ooh, how'd you like that?
Okay, so I don't like horror, but I did this book and it was the most fun. It was a slasher, like a campy slasher horror.
Oh, those are my favorite.
And it was a multicast. I mean, it had erotica in it because, it's me. My voice can't do anything without being sexy. And I was like, okay. But it was so exciting. I'm not going to give you spoilers, but it was such a fun story because I got to, and I know you know this, you play with the pacing and intensity, especially because if it lies upon you in a chapter to give the intensity of who's around the corner. Are they coming to get you? Is the killer there? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. You have to play with the pacing, with the intensity, with the volume, with the all of it, because you can't keep it all one pace. You lose focus.
And
And
likewise,
so,
the listener loses focus too.
yes, exactly. So for me, it was such fun to kind of sink my teeth into that. And now I want more. I want more of that. And I don't know how to ask for that because I don't want to do paranormal horror.
Right.
I don't want demons or ghosts.
Yeah, I'm
So,
I'm not a fan of those, but
mm-mm.
slasher horror, yeah, I'll take those.
We're a little crazy, James. We're a little unhinged. It's okay.
Hey, it's like the song by the '90s pop artist Seal says, "We're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy."
That's epic. You
Thank
just
you.
dropped that. I'm here for it. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. All right. You also do creative work off the mic, painting
Yeah.
furniture, quilting, dancing. How do those artistic outlets feed into your narration sessions?
Mm, another great question. Um, I was talking about this at a retreat recently with other narrators, and we were discussing the guilt we feel about not being able to get to the projects we have started and not finished, like crochet or quilting or painting. And something I came to terms with a few years ago in the midst of illness is just because you have to put aside a project for a certain amount of time, it could be a week or years, doesn't mean that it doesn't live with you and that you aren't that artist. It just means that right now you're breaking from it. So, something I do in my office is I have sectioned off my office into areas of creativity, of happy, if you will. So, every time I walk into my office, I feel excitement. So, in one area is my booth and my work, which I'm excited about. Another area is my exercise area, which I get excited about. My other area is my quilting, and my other is my painting. Quilting also involves crochet. And in that is also a really nice, cozy couch with a television across that I can watch as well. And what I've discovered is that when I'm feeling guilt because I haven't approached one of my passions in a while, I can look across the room and see another area of one of my passions I'm currently involved in and feel lit up again. And remember that this is a room that is constantly buzzing with the energy of creativity and that I am grounded because of this, that a creative being is always a creative being. So, what it does is it grounds me. It keeps me going. It keeps my brain moving. And it also helps remind me that this booth is not everything, but maybe today it is. Maybe tomorrow it's not. And that's okay.
I like that.
Thank you.
Sorry, allergies are getting to me. We're in the
Oh,
ragweed season. That's one of my allergy knuckleheads that'll get to me. It's like pollen in the spring and then ragweed in the fall.
same, same, same.
Blech.
Sorry. Mm.
No, no, it happens. All right. How do you maintain balance between your personal creative energy and the demands of performance work?
Mm. Can you reword that? Because
That's
I'm
all.
not.
Yeah, that's all I had written for that one. So, in other words, between your personal creative energy, so going back to the painting, quilting, and
Mhm,
crocheting, your different rooms or sections within your office,
mhm,
and also life outside the booth. How
mhm,
do you find balance between all of that and what you do in the booth versus what you do outside?
mm. I hired an assistant. I hired someone to help me with my schedule because I am a gun ho personality. I am full force 24/7. You got to slow me down. I think one of my life lessons and the reason why I was gifted chronic illnesses was to learn to rest. And so I never want to get back to the point where I'm spending months in bed. So I hired someone to come in and help me slow down my schedule. So I have weekends off and or at least one day a weekend. I'm most weekends 2 days, every weekend 1 day. But that has been torturous, to be honest. It's very hard to stay away from the booth. It's very hard to not be in here creating all the time because it's such I love it so much. Um, but if I don't get out and touch grass metaphorically, I can't actually because I'm allergic. But if I don't get out and see family, see friends, if I don't sit and do one of my creative things, I'm not touching base with me. So I have nothing to give to my work. It's just an echo of a shell of Shiloh. If
Mm.
I don't get back out there and find who I am and remember who I am and ground myself through exercise and color and people and life and taste it, I can give you nothing of experience in the booth. I can only give you regurgitation. So I force myself to rest.
And rest is important. Sometimes that's where the majority of our growth happens, is during moments of rest.
Very well said.
Your TikTok and Instagram communities are full of fellow narrators and fans. How do you think social media has changed the landscape for your audiobook narration?
Mm, you're just full of the great questions. I love it. Um, you know, mm, I look at social media as I'm trying to think of ways to say this. All the things to say. I love social media because it has brought me so many genuine friends and connections. I hate social media because every day it tells me I'm less than.
Mm.
So, the way to combat the negative noise of social media, because the purpose of that is to sometimes bring you down, is to find the genuine connections. So I love going live on TikTok. I found some really great people over there, and it brings me back to my performance roots. I love that. Um, that feeds me. I have really good author friends. I have great narrator friends. I've got a great Discord, couple of great Discord groups that I'm a part of. I'm grateful for the connections of social media. Social media has quite literally changed my life in more ways than I can even mention here for the better. Um, in regards to the business, it is the wave of the future and the wave of now. There are two types of narrators I've noticed and two types of narration, and I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud, but we're going to anyway. The way I separate it in my brain is kind of like a John Hughes movie with less animosity.
Ah,
You have narrators that are library narrators in my brain. Um, they're quiet. You don't see much of them on social media, but they're excellent and they win awards like Audiophile or Audis or Sovas and Grammys, and they're wonderful narrators, wonderful humans, but they're quiet on social media, so they're not very popular outside of the narrator community. But they're a certain group and they get certain types of books and they're in the library. Then you have the Jocks and Tobacco Road. And those narrators are what I would call the the social media popular crowd, and they are out there having a great time too. They are out there entertaining homecoming. They are out there. Your mom knows about them. Your daughter knows about them, and they are out there winning prom king and queen, and that's fine. This is great. They're going to win the popular vote, and neither is wrong. It's the problem becomes, and I've been noticing this is when either look at each other and think the other is less than, or they want to be a part of the other. And we all cross paths. We all do, of course. It's all a big community. And I think it's actually better as we all lift each other up. I find it to be very supportive. But at the end of the day, maybe you're just a cheerleader, and there's nothing wrong with that. Go be the best darn cheerleader you possibly can be. And if that means you're on TikTok every day, go do it. Enjoy it. Love it. And if that's not your personality and you don't like social media, great. There's the library. There's fabulous other routes as a narrator that you can still get work. Did that make any sense?
That was a wonderful analogous term. I love
Okay.
that.
Okay. All of it to say, there's just different routes, and it all works together, and neither is wrong. And it's easy to look down on other people because it's different, but don't, because it's all the same.
I love that. And in between, I know I've fallen victim to this a time or two and even have cried out because of it. That little rascal named imposter syndrome will weasel his way in to try and convince you that you're not good enough, to convince you that you are less than, and to point the finger elsewhere and go, ah, look at so and so. They're winning awards. You're not.
Right.
And I just have to remind myself, hold on, pump the brakes, Chief. You are on your own path. They are on their own path. Your path does not look like theirs. Stay on
Mhm.
yours, stay the course. You're doing good.
And 1,000% they're thinking the same thing. I just had that conversation with one of my very good friends in the industry today. I said, most days I have a pretty good brain on my head, or head on my brain, whatever, you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
And today I woke up and I was like, I suck. I'm terrible. I'm never going to get anywhere. This person got an award. That person got a review. I'm unseen. I'm not getting the books I want, which isn't true, by the way. None of this is true. Imposter syndrome is just a protective measure our brains are telling us because it doesn't want us to get hurt when we take chances. And the more chances we take, the louder it's going to get because it wants us to stay safe. And to stay safe means not moving from where we are. So every time it's loud, I'm doing something new. Now, think about it. I just recorded a horror, my first horror. So, of course, my imposter syndrome brain is going to be super loud today, saying, no, stay back. You did something new. And so my friend came back and she reminded me, she says, sweetie, my whole social media feed has been nothing but you today. And I'm like, you need more diversity. And she's just like, no, it's all your books coming out. Take a deep breath. Just remember there's somebody out there that's probably jealous of you. And jealousy is just there telling you what you want, not necessarily informing you of the person that you're actually jealous of. And so it was helpful. I took a deep breath, and you're right. Our paths are our paths. My voice is going to do whatever the heck she wants. My path is going to be wherever I need to be. There's plenty of work for everybody. And as long
Exactly.
as I keep doing all the things, reach outs, coaching, social media, improving what I'm doing, showing up for work, then it's going to be fine.
You kind of answered my final question for you, but let's see what else you can add on to this one. What message or encouragement do you aim to share with aspiring narrators, especially those facing adversity or health challenges?
Hmm, it's hard. This is not easy. This isn't supposed to be easy. I'm going to quote Tom Hanks' character from uh, A League of Their Own, famous quote.
Oh, love that movie.
Yeah. Um, what is it? Hard is what makes it great, I think is what he says. She's like, "But it's so hard." And he's like, "But hard is what makes it great." And that is the truth, is that it's okay. Rest. So what if you can't do 3 finished hours a day? It's okay. You don't need to. You're only put here to tell the stories that you're meant to tell. You're here to touch souls that you're meant to touch. Your your breath, your voice, your heart, your soul is so important. And even if you only tell one story, that's vital to somebody. So tell it. In the meantime, don't be afraid of rest. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Don't be afraid of the monsters in your head. They're going to come and bite at you. Remember, they're just trying to protect you. Give them a hug and set them back down and say, "You got this." And find somebody that, like my friend, that you trust to tell you the truth and that you can keep going. And if you're sick, you're sick. Don't take on too much. And always be honest with your producers. Tell your producers what's going on. That's all they want to know. Don't wait on those emails. Don't think, "Oh no, I can wait. They're going to hate me." No, tell them, "Hey, I have a cold. I cannot work today. I'm so sorry. I will have the files in on X amount of date. Here's what I have so far." That's my advice. It's not pithy, but
Fan.
it's real.
No, it's 100% uh, transparent and real, and that's all we ask. It is fantastic. So to close us out, Shiloh, where can people find you on the internet and social media? And listener, if you're sitting there going, "My gosh, I need Shiloh to narrate my book," Shiloh, where can they find you?
You can find me on my website, shilohjamesnarrator.com. You can also find me at on TikTok and Threads and IG under Shiloh James Narrator. I'm also Lindley Woods, so if you're thinking you have a clean something that you need, I do it under that too. But Lindley is hidden. She's clean, but she's there and she's under me. So you can find me there.
Fantastic. Shiloh, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. You were an absolute treasure to just hang out with and get to know a little bit more. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, James. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And dear listener, to you as always, thank you for hanging out and listening to this month's episode. Because remember, every single person not only is worthy of love, but every single person also has a story to share. And I want to hear yours. So until I talk to you next time, peace be with you.